Did you know that banks use 5 secret loopholes to drain your money? And today I'm going to expose these loopholes and reveal how you can protect your money. Hi, I'm Scott, and for the last 20 years in the financial services industry, I have helped people build generational wealth and pay off debt. This is how banks multiply money. Are you aware that when you deposit $100 into your bank, they only have to keep $10. They can lend out the rest. This process is known as fractional reserve banking. Here's how it works. You deposit $100, the bank only has to keep $10, they can lend out the $90. And when they lend out the $90 to someone else, they can go ahead to another bank and deposit that in there. That bank only has to keep $9 and they can lend out the $81 to somebody else. And this cycle just keeps going on, creating a multiplier effect where our initial $100 has created $1,000. Can you imagine how much money this is on a much bigger scale? We're talking billions of dollars that these banks are making off of us. Meanwhile, you and I are earning what? A small, tiny fraction of that interest in our savings account? Does that seem fair to you and I? I don't think so. The real question is, how can you take advantage of this system to benefit yourself instead of the banks? What if I told you that banks make billions of dollars by borrowing our money at a low interest rate and then lending it out at a much higher interest rate? This practice is known as the interest rate spread. Here's an example. You deposit money into the bank, into your savings account. Your bank gives you what? Less than 1%? Then they can go ahead and lend it out to someone at 5%. Now the bank makes a 4% spread, which is their profit. So the difference between what you pay and what they lend out is the interest rate spread. It's pure profit for the bank. And yes, this is how banks use your money to make more money for who? Themselves, not for you and I. Imagine being able to turn the tables on these banks, take back control, where you profit. Let's move on to another trick they use. Credit creation and how it impacts your money. Credit creation is where the banks essentially create new money whenever they issue a loan. Unlike you and me, banks don't need to have money to lend out. They can create it by just simply making entry in their books. Please, someone in the comments, tell me, how is this legal? You can just make money up by just putting something into your little entry book. Well, here's how it works. When you take out a loan, the bank doesn't transfer existing money to you. Instead, they just create a new deposit in your account, which becomes new money in the economy, which means banks can just lend out money that they don't even have to anybody, which increases the total money supply. For example, if you take a $10,000 loan, the bank credits $10,000 in your account. This money didn't even exist before. It was just created by the bank. You now have $10,000 in your account, and the bank has an asset in the form of a loan. They charge you interest on your loan, creating profit from money that didn't even exist before. So you gotta ask yourself, how can I leverage what the banks do to us for myself and my family? What if I told you that this strategy, I've used it and experienced it 28 times for me and my family. This strategy allows you to create your own line of credit. So stay tuned. I'm gonna reveal this secret weapon at the end. Let's look at another sneaky way these banks make money off of us. You ever experienced a service charge? Hidden fees? Banks have a wide array of fees. Overdraft fees, maintenance fees, ATM fees, and transactional charges. These fees might seem small and insignificant to an individual, but they add up, right? and can cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. If you overdraft your account twice a month, you're looking at $70 of your own hard-earned money just gone. And add in a monthly maintenance fee of what, $10 some of these banks charge you, and you're looking at $80 a month, $960 a year. Imagine this, you're carefully budgeting your monthly expenses, but a couple of unexpected overdrafts and routine maintenance fees are suddenly putting a dent in your finances? Before you know it, you're paying so much more in fees than you're even saving in your own savings account. Is it shocking how these fees can be a silent drain on your finances? And banks count on you not even noticing it. While you're trying to save and invest, banks are quietly taking a significant amount of money. And now that you see how banks use hidden fees and charges to drain your money, let's move on to the most lucrative strategy yet. Compounding interest. Did you know that banks use the power of compounding interest to grow their money exponentially? While most people barely scratch the surface of its potential, it's the interest that you earn on both your money and the interest that the money earns. Here's how it works. You deposit $1,000 into your savings account. The banks are giving you 5% interest. At the end of the first year, you've earned $50, making your total $1,050. And in the second year, you're now earning interest on the $1,050, not the $1,000 that you initially deposited the first year. And this cycle continues over and over again while your money grows exponentially over time. So imagine you start with $1,000, you earn 5%, and now you leave it untouched for 20 years. Thanks to compounding interest, your money has now grown to $2,600 without adding any more money to it. Now imagine if you can harness this power on a much bigger scale. See, while banks are using our money to earn compounding interest and grow their wealth exponentially, you might be missing out on this powerful strategy. But what if you can use the same power that they do to grow your wealth? So now that we've uncovered the 5 secret loopholes that banks use to make billions off of our money, it's time to turn back the tables and take back control of our money. Before we go on, please ask yourself, if you can harness these same strategies to grow your own wealth and secure your financial future, what would that look for you right now at this moment in your life? Now, this powerful strategy and secret weapon I'm talking about is called infinite banking. And it's not just another financial tactic or gimmick. It's actually a game changer. See, infinite banking has been around over 100+ years. You just haven't heard about it yet because banks and the media and financial institutions, they don't want you to know about this and how it works. But the truth is, it allows us to create our own personal banking system using a specially designed whole life insurance policy. Now, as I said those last few words, I know what you all are thinking because I thought about it the same way years ago. But first, you must understand infinite banking is not a product and it's not an investment, because an investment classifies risk, and there's absolutely zero risk with this type of concept or strategy. It's just a process. See, we use whole life insurance policies designed properly, not your IUL index universal life policies. Trust me, I have those policies for the last 7+ years for me and my son, and I can only speak from personal experience. Those don't work for me. But what I can tell you is that the policies that we do have for a whole life, we've been able to use these 28 times already. Even my son's policy, and he's 4 years old. See, I use my 4 whole life policies more like an alternative, like a savings alternative or an emergency fund or an opportunity bucket of money. That's how I use it. So for all you fake gurus and naysayers out there that have absolutely no proof and no real facts If you ever refer to infinite banking and whole life as an investment, you clearly don't understand it. So it's imperative that you or anybody listening read the book, Becoming Your Own Banker, from the creator R. Nelson Nash first, before you make any comments or any opinions about something that you have no clue about, and that should first clear up some of the noise, okay? Now, without going too further in depth, let me just briefly explain. With infinite banking, we can borrow money from our policy's cash value, much like how banks lend out our money. This in turn lets us multiply our money just like banks do. We can also benefit from the interest rate spread. By borrowing the money as a loan from our policy at a lower interest rate, we can then use that money to invest in other ventures to achieve a higher growth potential. See, infinite banking provides us with our own personal line of credit, similar to a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, but with more benefits, along with financial flexibility and control. And how would you like to borrow money without any credit check, without any background check? And how about no mandatory repayment schedule? You make the payments how you want. Oh, and those hidden fees that you and I have been getting sometimes, those secret ones, how would you like to avoid those traps as well? Keeping more of that money in our pocket. Oh, and the best part is, how would you like to earn uninterrupted compounding interest on all the money that you borrowed out from the policy to do whatever you want? Right? Buy cars, pay off some credit card debts, go ahead and invest in other ventures for yourself. See, I can show you, because I've already done this 28 times, like I said. Paid off 5 credit cards, paid off my car, and I'm still earning that interest compounded. Now, just as a disclaimer, not all mutual insurance carriers will allow this. That is why it's extremely important that you work with a specialist like myself or my team, so that you truly understand what policy you get and how they work. Stop listening to those people out there that have no clue, making comments when they don't even have their own policy themselves. Imagine having the power to act as your own bank, multiplying your money, avoiding traditional banking fees. The reality is, if we continue to let banks exploit these loopholes, we'll keep losing money year after year. Let's not let another year go by where we're not in control of our own financial future. So I challenge you to answer a few questions. Take out a pen and paper and write down your answers. Do you like the current situation that you're in right now? Do you want a better future? Would you like to know how you can set up your own policy for yourself? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you'll want to watch this next video up here, where I go over step by step how to implement these strategies.